Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hi.
It's us again.
Hello,
It's
good evening.
It's the Friday gang.
Friday night, guys, and another show of Mackmyra Friends. Welcome. My name is Shane Perry. Tonight, joining we have Gareth Bell, my co-host, and the star behind the bar is Camille Sonka. Hello, Camille.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Nice
God, it's hot today, isn't it? It's just me. It's bloody hot, isn't it? Summer
it's
has
very
arrived.
hot
This is it. Make the most of it because I don't think we're going to see any more.
Well, if it's arrived, it's today, and tomorrow we're back to winter. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys. Anyway, did you see the show last week, guys? Did you manage to go back and have a look at it?
Yeah,
What
what
a
fun.
laugh.
What a laugh we
Great
had.
fun, guys. Look, I don't think we're going to top that.
Well worth checking out. It's if you want to see it, it's all the bloopers that we did. We accidentally on purpose did a load of bloopers, and there were some real ones in there as well. So we had such a laugh. Go back and check it out. It's on our events website on the co.uk. Have a look at the events. Such a laugh. But this week we're going to be a lot more serious.
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to, go get back to basics and kind of have a look back at, Mackmyra and this lovely core range. In fact, we're going to talk about tonight.
Right.
You go on our website and you can purchase it, join the tasting. But we're just going to go back and just have a look at how this wonderful core range came about. We're going to start with Bruks 2010, which is our breakfast whiskey. We're going to move on to Svensk, which is our Swedish Oak, 10% Swedish Oak, a lovely, lovely brand. We're going to move on to Svensk, Swedish Smoke, and
Smoky.
we're going to finish with the Mack. So we're going to kind of do it in reverse order tonight. So it's going to be very different than normal. But I thought it'd be great to have a look at them again and go through them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to peg them on the timelines to exactly the point where they came out, and they're still here. They're persistent. They're fabulous whiskies. They've stood the test of time, right from the first one to the fourth. So it's worthy looking back over your shoulder sometimes to see where you've come from, follow your steps, and work out where you've come from. I mean, we're very forward looking. We like to explore, but sometimes look over your shoulder and see how far you've come. Yeah.
So Camille, what are you doing for us tonight? I believe you've got a couple of cocktails lined up for us. What's your plan?
Tonight we're gonna make a twist on classic whiskey, classic sour, and penicillin. But we're gonna make chocolate sour and reverse penicillin. So the main flavor will be smoky flavor of the cocktail, not elegant.
Okay. That's using 3 out of the 4 of the core range. So we've got a good coverage of those tonight, haven't we? Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Camille, over to you.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't we want to tell them about a bit of a deal that we've got?
Have we got a deal tonight?
We always have a deal for them, Shane. Come on. We got a good deal for them. It's core week. It's core 4. So if you get on there and buy one of the cores, there's a nice discount code there. If you put in the discount code core week into the shop, you're going to get a whopping, he said 30% off. 30% off your second bottle. So buy any one.
That's virtually free.
Yeah, it's almost giving it away, isn't it? 30% off. So you choose your favorite and then have your second favorite, and you're going to get, it's almost half price, 30% off. Good deal for the show anyway, isn't it?
Well, Gareth, this is my second show today, and I'm kind of losing track of where we are. I mean, I've jumped in to make the cocktail. I haven't even spoken about what, a little bit of the history about Mackmyra. And he was so polite, he hasn't even mentioned it. He's kind of just said, okay, I'll get on with it then. Sorry about that, people.
It was good. Yeah, today's about the timeline, about going back on the timeline and looking at it. So it's probably worth just tracing our steps. Where do we start, Shane? And tell us about 2, 3, these whiskies on the timeline. And we'll taste 1 or 2 of them. Keep Camille in the background just for a little bit, and then we'll get to the cocktails.
Okay.
So Mackmyra, interesting story around Mackmyra. How it all started, 8 friends got together, 1998, and they used to meet at a ski lodge in Salem. And they meet at the end of the year every year and go skiing. And of course, they bring a bottle of whiskey. And in 1998, they thought, well, as all good things, they should have a discussion around maybe starting Sweden's first whiskey distillery, which they duly did. So that kind of laid the platform for 1998, from 1999 to begin the distillation. And the rest is pretty much history. That's how it all started. They got an old distillery called the Bruks distillery.
There it is. Nice river there.
Old mill and a power plant, and they converted it into a distillery. It is beautiful in a little village called Mackmyra, which is also known as Midswamp, which is not an ideal name for a whiskey, but that's what it is. A lot of people say Mackmyra is a name stolen from the Scots. No, it's not. It is an actual village. It's about 150 kilometers north of Stockholm, and it's a very real thing, people. So yeah, so they started making whiskey. They developed a 100-liter pot still, and the reason they use 100-liter pot still is because they were learning how to make whiskey. They weren't sure it was going to work, so they thought we'll start off small and develop it. And it's really synonymous with what they've done. So the 100-liter pot still, when you cut whiskey, you cut out the heart, and you leave the tail and the heads. You only take the best quality spirit, and that equates to 30 liters. And that 30 liters is what is synonymous with Mackmyra today. There's a picture of, thanks, Connor, of Bonus Mine with a 30-liter cask, and of course all the other casks that we have in. And that's predominantly where we store most of our bulk of our whiskey today. So they made the whiskey, they put it into a cask, and they started developing whiskey. And that kind of brings us to where Bruks is today. Of course, we moved on from them. We've since built the gravity-fed distillery, which is the first of its kind in the world. It's 35 meters high. It stands in a town called Gävle, which is about 12 kilometers from Bruks distillery. And it's in a forest. And what we do is we pipe water from the Bruks distillery to the new distillery for consistency. There's another picture of it. That is where the forest warehouse is kept, and that is the biofuels that we use to run the plant. It's
very energy efficient.
Completely 45% less energy is used using the gravity to feed the distillery, and self-sustainable. And all the waste is then recycled and used to run the distillery in terms of running the lights and generating heat in the distillery. So state of the art, first of the type in the world. And to boot, we put a bar on top of the distillery.
Why not?
So that moved the whole distillery from the Mackmyra Bruks distillery to the new distillery in 2012, and they started producing whiskey from it. And one of the very first whiskeys to come out of it was the Svensk, which we're going to be talking about tonight. A year later, the Svensk Oak, which is the Smoky peaty one. And we do the peating on site. And this is quite interesting. So again, when they started peating, they were having to learn how to peat because it was a new and foreign concept to them. And because peat and that grows, well, I say grows, is found wild around the distillery, as is all the ingredients of Mackmyra, they thought, right, we'll start off small. So they got a small smoker, they hand built it. There it is there in the back of the garden of someone's house. And they began to peat bomb. Quite a story. And it smoked so much, the neighbors complained. They actually had to take it away and put it near the shore and run their test there. And of course, it was very successful. And then they took it and they obviously brought it back to the distillery, and they got a container and they converted a 20-foot container. They put a smoker on it, and now we do our own peating on site. So quite an interesting story. So the first smoky whiskey to come out of Mackmyra was 2013. And then as things developed, as demand developed, Mackmyra entered into the international markets, and Systembolaget is the government-owned liquor stores in Sweden. They said, we'd like a whiskey. You have to make us a whiskey. So Mackmyra went away and they developed a brand called Mack. Mack was especially made for that market. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but that was released in 2016 for the local market, but now can be found all over the world. It is a fabulous whiskey, and we're going to be using it for cocktails later. So
good news travels fast, doesn't it? It was meant to be for Sweden, but everybody wanted to get their hands on it. It was great liquid.
Yeah, it was. Well, they all are. I mean, the core range is phenomenal. So they run from about £35 up to about £50, and they are a lovely bunch of whiskies, so to speak. But that, in a nutshell, is the history of Mackmyra. They also do casks, and they do small cask stuff, and there's a reserve side and ready cask, but we won't talk about those tonight. We're going to crack on with the whiskey tonight, and I believe I'm starting for a change.
Yeah, you are, because the first one on the history, and it's still being produced. The first one that we ever produced and it's still there. We did have another regular whiskey that's not there, but this is the first one that's still being produced. Is the Brukswhisky, isn't it, from 2010?
Yeah, so the Brukswhisky, we're not going to delve too much into it, guys. We're going to give a bit of history on it. If you want to know more about it, there was a show last night. Our counterpart from the north of England did a fantastic job. They really delved into this product, gave a full history, how it's made, where it comes from, and it's really worthwhile. If you really want to know the ins and outs of how this whiskey is made, in fact, of all the whiskies we're going to show you tonight, please go on to mackmyra.co.uk and have a look at last night's show. It was really well done. But I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So this is one of the entries. It's called the Breakfast Whiskey. It's also one of my favorite whiskies, the Brukswhisky. It tells the story of Mackmyra on it. It's got both distilleries on it. It's got some barley on it. It's got The recipe for Bruks on it. It talks about the Swedish Oak. It's got the pot still on it. It's got the score of 95.5 by Jim Murray, which is on every bottle, which is quite
repeated twice now.
Yeah,
because of its age. That's right.
Yeah,
revalidated.
It's 41.4%. It retails around the mid-40 mark. We like to call it the breakfast because you can see from the color it's very light and easy to drink. And it's the first one in the range, the core range, that has a gift box. And the same story is on the gift box as well. And you'll see on the gift box, if I can find some, there's some midges. There's one there and then one there. And on the bottles as well, they're in orange. I don't know if you can see them.
Little orange midges. They're on the bottle there.
All over the bottle. And they are there, which kind of it tells you that Mackmyra is the midge swamp. It's not a great name. But Bruks is interesting. Bruks means industrial town. It also means useful tool or everyday tool in this case.
Your go-to whiskey.
So for breakfast, you want to start the day right. This is where you want to start. 41.4% ABV. So let's get some in a glass, shall we?
Oh, I'm ahead of you there. I've got it in the glass. I'm smelling it. I've even had a little sip. I'm sorry to say, Shay, because it's a very approachable. So approachable, I couldn't resist.
It is a lovely whiskey, guys. It's, whenever I smell this whiskey, I get bananas.
Banana.
I don't know
Vanilla,
why it is.
Banana.
Pear drops.
Raspberry.
Citrus fruit.
Fruits. Easy. It's a great recipe, and it's a well guarded recipe, and we do talk about it in general terms, but this recipe is repeated for so long now. 10 years it's been going, so yeah. It has to be doing something right with 2 scores and 95.5 from Big Jim.
The nice thing about it as well is as the distillery's age, so is the product age. So this is right about an average of an 8-year-old now. So it's a really good whiskey, mid-40s, 8-year-old, single malt, Swedish whiskey. It's lovely. Shall we try it?
Oh, yeah, wonderful. Just sets the palate up, doesn't it? It's got everything there, really nice balance, and a lot of what we have to. It's got the core DNA, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of spice, a bit of fruit, and it just blends across. Not too high ABV, just sits there lovely across the tongue. Just a refreshing whiskey, and really defines what we do as a product. So let's whip on to the second one.
Oh, hang on, Gareth. I forgot what before I forget, but I forgot what I was going to say to you now. But it's such a lovely whiskey. So jump into the next one. Go for it.
Yeah. So here we go. We're a couple of years down the line, and the guys have always used Swedish whiskey in their recipes. They always wanted to use indigenous products, and they had a few different bottles that used the Swedish oak eventually. But this is the time of 2010 where they actually brought out the box and said, okay, we're going to call it Swedish Oak, and we're going to put it on the box and on the bottle. And this has persisted since then, since 2012, primarily because the Swedish Oak is such slow growing. It gives fantastic, really hot, peppery, spicy flavors. And that's the reason why we only give 10% of the recipe is for Swedish Oak. It's really, it's so different from a lot of the oaks and woods that you get from America and France. It is such a peppery, spicy liquid that it adds so much to it. So it has to be used quite sparingly. Again, it's like 7 or 8 year old whiskey that's in there. It's pretty old stuff, relatively to a young distillery, I guess. But on the nose, it's got that. Again, it's just over 40%. Is it 46? This is dialed up to 46 actually. The percentage of it. So quite a step up in alcohol, but the nose is pretty unassuming. It's quite nice, quite approachable. But you certainly get the kick in the pants when you get to taste it. That's for sure. So the nose, it's really really sort of warm, fruity. You still get the fruits there. A little bit. I get a little bit of pepper, a little tingle on the nose of a taste of what's to come. Put it in your mouth. Pow! You get the alcohol and you get that starburst of pepper flavors and spiciness that comes in, falls off and leaves you with that lingering sort of long finish that's on this. This is quite an acquired taste. It's pretty. Some people can scream. It's a bit Marmite. You'll love it or you'll hate it. But always a favorite with us with our lineups. Some people really link to this, especially if you're into the hot, peppery, spicy flavors. It does really give you a nice little burn there. Isn't that right, Shane?
It's a lovely, lovely whiskey. It kind of introduces what Swedish Oak's all about as well. Having only 10%, you can imagine the the kick it will have if we used 100%
yeah, we can't imagine it. Yeah,
it's a nice introduction in the core range for something different, and you get a taste of what Swedish whiskey is all about.
Yeah, exactly. So Camille's getting eager. One more whiskey, and then we get Camille to make us something wonderful.
It feels like we're downing them tonight, but we're not really. We are moving along quite nicely. So the gem in the mix is mine, I believe.
Yeah, this is it.
So here's a picture, Gareth, of the Botus mine. This is someone actually driving into the Botus mine. It's 50 meters below ground, guys. And the reason we store all our products here is because the temperature is constant all year round. We don't have to heat it or add any coolers. The humidity is high, and the only problem we have is water. It's about 350 meters drive down into the distillery, listen to me, into the mine. And this is where we store most of our products. And it's a proper mine. This used to be used by Svensk, which is a mining company that use earth-moving equipment underground. And they used it to test drills and things like that. So that's why it's such a wide open space to drive down into it. And I must tell you, when that door lifts up, Gareth, the waft of whiskey that hits you, unbelievable. You know you're in a cellar full of whiskey. And if they turn the lights off down there, Gareth, let me tell you, you can't see your hand. And it's a trick. So if you get a chance to go, they'll tell you to go switch the light off around the corner, and you go around the corner and they'll switch the lights off and you won't be able to find your way back. It's a bit eerie. But there's our CFO. I'm just showing us some of the cars that are racked down there. And we have 10 arms. When I say arms, they're like outlets off the main drive that are full of whiskey. He's only showing the 30 liters there at the moment, but we also have all the ox heads and 128 liters as well. So yeah, quite a sight to see. And if you get the chance, please go and visit, because it is really something. I think we're probably the only company in the world that stores our startup product in an abandoned mine.
In a mine, yeah.
Yeah, back to the real job. So Svensk, and you can see the smoke from the picture. This is our smoky one.
Smoky flavor.
It's 50 cl. It's the only one in the core range that is 50 cl, because there's a lot of hand involvement. So from hand to liquid it's costly. So we thought we'd keep the price down, made it a 50 cl. And we weren't sure initially if it would sell. It's become a bit of a gem, 46.1% ABV. And what we do differently here, guys, is we use juniper with peat to add a smoky flavor.
Juniper twigs.
We take juniper twigs, sorry. And we take a third of the peated barley and 2/3 the unpeated barley to make this product. So we don't make a peated product, we make a smoky product. And for me, Gareth, every single time I try this, I just get bonfire. It's just lovely. To me, screams bonfire.
Lovely bonfire.
So yes, retail around early 50s, 95.5 in Jim Murray, and probably the only one in the world that used juniper twigs to make it smoky.
Yeah, all indigenous. So we've covered 3 of our core 4, and they're very different. You've got the nice, approachable Bruks whiskey with a wide range of flavors, a bit hot, spicy flavors coming on the wood, and then you get a lovely smoky flavor. So Camille, you've picked a couple of these. So let's start talking the cocktail. What have you picked and why? What are you going to make for us in the first one?
Yeah, I'm gonna make for you a classic cocktail, which is called Penicillin, invented by New York bar Milk and Honey. But this cocktail is mainly actually main ingredients is to make it from elegant style the whiskey, and on the top there is just layer of peated whiskey. But because this is so nice, it's smoky, it's not very peated, and has nice tobacco and green fruits flavor. Definitely. This is actually excellent primary ingredients to use in this cocktail, because it's not very peaty.
So you're reversing them round, hence the reverse penicillin.
Yes, so we basically reverse them around, and I believe it will work perfectly with the fresh ginger syrup, honey syrup, fresh lemon juice, and others.
Okay, well let's get on with that. I'm making this with you tonight. I've got my cocktail bits and pieces. Are you making some shakes tonight? Having a night off?
Hang on.
Okay.
So you need to chill your glass first, where you're gonna serve your cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we got that.
We'll chill it, and we can start. So 15 ml of honey syrup. I made this honey syrup. So basically, I mixed water with honey 1-to-1 part, because if you use just normal honey, it won't dissolve well in a cocktail. It just become hard.
Okay. Like,
So it's best way to just make syrup 1-to-1 with water. Mix honey with water. So 15 ml. And 15 ml of ginger syrup. So basically, I made ginger syrup by peeling the ginger, blend them in the blender, then squeeze the juice, get rid of the juice, and mix that juice with equal parts of water and sugar.
Right.
So ginger juice, sugar, and water mixed together, you're gonna get ginger syrup.
Make a syrup.
It will last you around a month or more.
I did that, and I've got some sitting in my cup here, all ready to go. So what's that you're putting in now?
15 ml of ginger syrup.
Oh, that's okay. I've got that. So you're chopping up a lemon behind the scenes. Mine all pre-prepared. You see, I take.
Yeah, I just want as fresh citrus as possible. So always I'll cut them as I need them at home. Especially in the bar, you need to squeeze a lot in advance, but at home I like to squeeze it fresh straight away.
Okay. Look at that.
So,
one. Okay, there's my lemon juice going in as well.
And a 50 ml of Svensk.
That's a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke.
50 ml, wow.
So everything is in, and now just a lot of ice.
A lot of ice in here. Are we ready to shake?
Ready?
Let's shake it, shake it. Shane, you should be shaking, baby. Can't get a word in now. It's too much noise. Wow, that's
exactly. Cold. Can you imagine 3 of us doing that? More ice.
So I'm gonna get rid of the excess water.
I've got a coarse strainer on my cocktail, so just a coarse strainer.
I'm not gonna fine strain it. I'm just gonna put it straight into the glass.
Lovely. That's great.
And on the top, just floated Bruks.
So you just dribble it in.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that, Camille?
Just get rid of some ice so we can fit some more whiskey in.
Just float that onto the top. There we go.
Why'd you drop a little bit of Bruks on the top? What does it do?
Because first impression, when you drink the cocktail, you will get elegant flavors without smoking. But after a couple of sips, you will start getting that smoke from Svensk.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, it smells delicious. I might like to drink it now. Are we ready to go?
You're just garnishing it with the fresh ginger. Yep.
Oh, that looks delicious. Okay. I bet that's refreshing, Gareth. Why does yours look orange and his look lemony?
I don't know. It's mine's slightly more orange. I think maybe the honey. I used more of a concentrated honey, and I mixed some ginger inside the honey, so maybe a darker honey. It's taking the color of this.
Okay. Well, try it, guys. Let me know what it's like. Skull.
Let's go. Oh yeah. Yeah, so you get that initial elegant, and then at the end, you get a big bucket of smoke sort of hits you on the end of it. But
on the nose, do you pick up the smoke?
No, I don't get it. It's completely flat on the nose.
So kind of deceiving you.
It is. I mean, I'm getting the fruit and the citrus.
Definitely, of course, you're gonna nose the ginger because of the fresh ginger on top. But you know there is a whiskey, of course, and some citrus. But it's very refreshing on the nose. you taste it and you was like, okay, it's not smoky, and then you go deeper and deeper, and it's the cocktail change as you drink it.
As you get deeper, as the smoke dials up. But I tell you what, in this office right now, it's probably about 38 degrees with all the computers and the lights and everything. I'm surprised you can't see the beads of perspiration dripping off my nose. But this, with a nice cool ice cube inside, it's beautifully chilled. What a refreshing drink. A great start to the show, Shane. Camille.
Yeah. And Gareth, all these recipes are available on our website and on our YouTube channel.
That's right. We put them all up in advance on the events and on the YouTube events and everything like that. So all the recipes are there. You can pick them up and learn how to do what the masters do behind the bar. I'll start behind the bar, Camille. Wow, look at that.
Right. That was lovely. It looked really easy.
I want to drink more and more. I might just come back to that one.
Should we try and round out the core range this evening and maybe talk about the Mack before we move on to our last cocktail?
Yeah, we got one more, and it's the Mack.
Yeah.
It's the big Mack. There it is. This is the one which came out in 2016. It came out a little bit later. It was designed for the System Bolliger, as Shane said before, the Swedish monopoly alcohol bureau, and they wanted some products on there. We did this one, and then we followed up about a year later with a very similar product style, the gin. So the Lab Gin, the very similar bottles. It's got a speed bottle design on the top there. No fancy packaging, no fancy labeling, just a great whiskey inside here. A lot of flavors, and the core DNA, the apples and pears, and this reeks apples and pears. When you put it on the nose, you get, and this started off as quite a young whiskey, I think relatively young, maybe 5, 6, and now the recipes that we're having, this is 7, 8, 9 years old stuff that's going into this, so it's pretty good.
And 40% ABV, Gareth, so nice and light as well.
Yeah, it's a light whiskey. It's dialed down, and it goes with its sister, the Lab Gin, sits there as a nice pair. But this become so popular. It's one of our best sellers now. Everywhere. The flavors that come out of this, people think it's an entry level whiskey, but it's not entry level. This is really high quality stuff on the flavors, and it's a great base for not just for drinking neat as an approachable drink, but if you put it with mixers. It's Camille, tell us, this is going to be one of the best whiskies to create cocktails with, isn't it? It's full of flavors, isn't it?
Yes, I actually love this whiskey, and I love to work with it because every time I mix it with something else, different flavors will develop. And for example, next cocktail we're gonna make, it's a chocolate sour.
Oh wow!
But when I tasted the cocktails, I get so much flavors of cherries, which I didn't taste before. So it's more like a cherry chocolate sour, because the cherry flavors, I don't know where they come from, but actually you can taste that. So the different flavors develop there.
Let's just round this off. I mean, this is available for about 33 to 34 pounds or something. It's there's no expensive box. It's ready to go, but it's such a great flavor of whiskey. Really good flavor available to go. I would say that we will come clean. This has got a little bit of caramel added. The only whiskey where we add a little bit of caramel for the color, because they wanted a nice dark finish on the top there. So that's not a 20-year-old whiskey inside there. That's an 8-year-old whiskey which has had a little bit of caramel, but that's because the Swedish whiskey company ordered us to do that. So that's what we do, but we're very clear about it. We talk about it on the label. We're very open about what it is we do. We're not hiding anything, but that's the only whiskey that is generally available where we add color to it.
Correct. Camille, make that cocktail. I'm getting.
Come on, tell us about it. I'm in here as well.
Chocolate sour. That sounds interesting, Gareth.
Let me just get my glass ready.
And you're going to use real chocolate, Camille?
Yeah, I have some white chocolate ready. I love white chocolate, actually.
So do I.
Oh, I need some white chocolate. It's in the freezer. I forgot. It melted.
Yeah, but you don't want white chocolate to melt in this heat, so I'm gonna just put it on the ice there. It's gonna stay nice and cold.
Mine melted. I need my white chocolate. I'm gonna get my glamorous assistant to get me some white chocolate. Hold on. White chocolate out the freezer, glamorous assistant. I'm not
Sorry, Gareth.
I got a what?
Sorry, Gareth. Is the maid off, or is the bell not working?
I'm trying to find what the bell is, but wait a minute. Here we go.
There we go.
Service, please. Hey, come come on, stop your
You get
sunbathing.
beaten.
Get me my white chocolate out of the freezer, please.
Oh, I didn't know you had some in there.
Yeah, it was melting, wasn't it?
Oh,
It's probably frozen stiff now. I probably won't be able to grate it.
yeah.
So Camille, tell us
She
about
ate
this
it.
cocktail.
Okay, so we're making chocolate sour. So of course, with the sour, I'm gonna use traditionally egg white. Normally, bartenders they use either whole egg white or 25 ml or around this, maybe less. But I would say 25 ml or whole egg white from the egg. But for this one, I'm gonna use just 15 ml, so not a lot of egg white.
Sorry.
And for the vegans amongst us, we don't use egg white, but we've got a little chickpea sort of juice that's on the aquafaba, I think they call it.
That's right.
So we put a bit of that in.
So 15 ml of egg white.
What does that do, Camille?
It's frothens the drink and creates smooth texture and a foam on top.
Oh, okay. You got the elbow out again.
Yeah, I've got quite big lemons today, so I can make like a lot of juice from one. So from half, I made 25 ml. So actually, this is all I need: 25 ml of lemon juice.
Right.
I got my pre-squeezed lemon juice. There we go. I used 2 halves, one for each cocktail. So nice lemons. Fresh from the market today.
Svensk chocolate syrup, 25 ml.
So Sans is a brand that does a lot of different syrups, aren't they, Camille? And you're a big favorite of these guys.
Syrups.
They actually come in on our show in a couple of weeks' time, and
Well,
we're going to
exactly.
I heard that. I heard they're coming on, and maybe we're going to do some work with these guys.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Looking forward to it, actually.
I got some
How much
chocolate syrup. It's not Sans, but it's chocolate syrup.
Is that
Okay, so
50
Hans
ml?
will go on to the syrups, and they will explain the reason why the syrup is so good and how we can mix them even better with our whiskey.
Is that 50 mils of Mack you put in there?
50 ml of Mack whiskey.
Wow.
Okay.
Now I'm going to just stir it a little bit, okay?
Right.
Just to make sure everything is mixed. Now,
Looks like a devil's fork. Right.
Stir.
normally sour, the bartenders or most of the people shake it twice. First, dry shake without the ice, and then with a lot of ice, really hard shake, just to achieve a lot of foam and frothy texture in a drink.
Okay.
But you know, people have at home a blender, and why? Who said you cannot use a blender for sour? Where is it written? Who said it? So basically, when you shake the sour, or a cocktail, you chilling the cocktail, and water also dilutes from that ice,
Okay.
which is chilling the drink. So by shaking your cocktail around, 3 ice cubes will dissolve into the cocktail.
Okay.
I'm gonna just drop 3 ice cubes, and this is how much will be actually diluted while you shake the cocktail. So that's why this is only ice I want to add into the blender.
Well, I have to say, we've got great scope for a massive disaster here. I've got a hand blender. I'm going to try and use it.
Yeah,
No,
you can use the hand blender. It will also create nice froth. But some might end up on your PC screen.
Anything could happen in the next 30 seconds. I'm not
Oh,
sure. I've never done
Lord.
this before. I'm going to stick this blender inside here. I think it goes down to about the right level. Hey, it's working. I can see it. There you go. It all works perfectly first time, Shane. Did you ever doubt me?
Camille.
Where's Camille gone? Is he got a bit of feedback there?
No, no.
Was that-
He's
was
put
that-
on
was that
board.
me?
He thinks about our viewers' ears, which is very nice of him. Thank you, Camille. Unlike Gareth.
Sorry, I forgot all about that. I was just, I'm so
Sorry.
excited to have a little hand tool in my,
Well done,
in my
Camille.
study.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. So did you ask me anything?
No, no. Carry on.
So this
basically,
is a very sweet cocktail. This is going to appeal to your sweet tooth, Shane. I know you're a big chocolate fan.
I am.
so look at the texture there.
It's
The
almost
froth.
like.
Basically, with the shaker, shaking the cocktail, you will never achieve froth like this.
Oh,
So
okay.
the blender is not just for margaritas, daiquiris, frozen drink, but also for sours or whatever is egg white used.
Oh,
Gareth
look
did a
at
good
that.
job as well. Look at that.
Look at that.
That is special.
I've got a nice froth going on there on the foam on the top there. That's beautiful. So, guys, I'm not an expert in, Camille's the star behind the bar. Anybody could do this stuff.
Yeah.
Have a go. It's fun. It's up in my eyes. I'm a die-in-the-wall, cast strength, nothing ever mixed with my whiskey guy. But these cocktails are really opening my eyes to, if you use good ingredients, you get great cocktails. Isn't that the secret?
Every time.
Yeah, Shane, this is a chocolate sour. What do you think we should garnish it with?
Chocolate? Be an idea?
Okay.
Chocolate! It's going all over my desk, guys, but I don't care.
Camille, you can put as much chocolate on as you like. You don't have to just put 5 grams on. You can put, if you've got a sweet tooth, you just put more on.
Yeah.
You should see the mess I'm making here. I'm definitely going to get I'm going to get into trouble here for the amount of mess I'm making with this chocolate. Maybe a bit too much chocolate on the top of here.
Now
but
imagine this.
Show everybody the mess on my desk, and
Ah.
there's the mess on my desk, and there's the cocktail with the white chocolate on the top. Look at that. But look at the mess around here. It's a Friday, everybody. It's the weekend. Enjoy yourself. Have a bit of fun. Let down. So let's have a taste of this. Camille, skull.
Skull.
Guys, that looks really delicious.
Now, Shane, imagine this. You have a garden or something. There's a swimming pool outside. Either a small one or for kids or for adults. Just you sitting in the water, lying, and you're having this chocolate cocktail.
Have you been to my house, Camille?
No, I haven't. But but this is where I would enjoy it. Outside, in the swimming pool, relaxing and having cold chocolate cocktail.
It looks so delicious. It looks like a chocolate milkshake. That's my problem. I think I drink too much of it. This is good.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and I love the texture of it. The aquafaba, I guess it's similar to the egg white. It's given a really frothy, foamy finish to it with the blender. Really pumping it up to a level that, like you say, Camille, your hands cannot get to that level of blending, in terms of shaking. So it really takes it up. It's got a lovely smooth texture. The flavors coming out of the Mack are just reeking the apples and the sweetness, but the chocolate on the top of it and the syrup mixed amongst it, just perfect. And that little sharpness, and it wouldn't be the same without that little bit of citrus edge to it as well. It would be sickly, but with the lemon juice in there, it's a nice blend, perfect balance.
Exactly. And when you blend this drink, you will achieve different texture than by shaking it. So in the spirit production, when you know there's a spirit, you taste it, but then you also assess how does it feel in your palate. Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it silky? And how it is. So you assess the texture. And in cocktail, you also assessing the texture. And by blending it, you just have essential happening things in your mouth to have something creamy and smoothie.
I think the technical term is emulsify. Isn't it? There's a technical term here called emulsify, where if you bring it up, it actually it produces a texture that you can't reproduce by your hand. And the emulsifying of that is that really thick, gooey sort of mouthfeel, really texture that you get. The emulsification of the contents of that come together with the fava or the egg white if you're using it in that way. I've got to eat the chocolate before it melts, so this is a bad job that I have to do. Sorry.
Well, guys,
perfect.
It brings it to the end. Another week of Mackmyra tastings. Gareth, we've got so much on. I think what we should do is, when you finish your chocolate, though, is tell everybody about what they can get. What's the deal this week? It's running at the bottom of the screen. It really is worthwhile. What is it?
Okay, so you go to the web shop, you buy any Mackmyra core range, and then you'll get a whopping 30% off your second core range whiskey. All you got to do is type in the discount code Core Week, and that's going to run till next Wednesday at midnight, 1st of July till midnight. So get on there, buy a couple of bits and pieces, make these cocktails. They're wonderful. But coming up, wow, what a busy calendar. There's so much. The second of our last week we had the first of our Breakfast with B cooking on a Saturday morning shows with Brendan McConnell, and such a wonderful show we had last week. Today's the second show. Tomorrow's the second show. Sorry, at 10 o'clock. And today, it's been a long day. Sorry. and Bree's going to be cooking some burgers with a really nice white creamy smoky cheese sauce. So guess what's coming from the Smoky? And also he's doing onion rings.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I saw the picture. I saw the onion rings there, and that's a no-brainer for me.
Onion rings with the batter made from the Brukswhisky as well. So we're using the core range tomorrow morning, and then next week, we're going to do it all again. We're going to have a look at a couple of seasonals. We're going to make some cocktails on the Friday. On the Thursday, we'll look at depth. On the Friday, we'll make a few cocktails, have a few fun, and on Saturday morning, we'll make a few ingredients and mix them together in a lovely dish. So the regular Thursday, Friday night sequence is where it's at.
Yeah, and next Friday we might have a little of a surprise in store. There might be something different than the normal show again. So
okay.
If you're around, be worthwhile watching.
It's only 30 minutes. Put it in your diaries. Join us. It's a bit of fun on a Friday night, a bit of entertainment. See me make a mess of myself in general. Actually, relatively, it went really well tonight. Relatively.
Well, some of us.
Yeah, we managed to make the cocktails.
We did.
Managed to taste some whiskies.
Some great cocktails, Camille. So, guys, thank you very much to my co-host, Gareth Bell, to the star in the bar, Camille Sunker, to the guys behind the scene, Connor, thank you very much. And from me, Shane Perry, good night. Have a lovely weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. I won't be there, but these two will be there. And have a lovely weekend. Take care. Good night.
Ciao, everyone. Cheers.
Skull.